What's up, everybody, and welcome to Accounting and Accountability, weekly show about everything business and accounting. My name is Dr. Amanda White.
I'm Dr. Nelson Ma.
So, how are you doing this week, Nelson?
A little tired at the start of the week, but tracking pretty well.
We've had pretty nice weather, so
It's been really good weather, yeah.
I've had outdoor time, which is good. That vitamin D, I think, helps you feel better.
You've had Audit Junior having a swim.
Yes, my son went for a swim for about 2 seconds. First swim of the season. He gets kudos there. So we have two really interesting stories this week.
Yes.
And we keep coming back to Netflix because there's always exciting stuff related to accounting and Netflix. What's happening? Well,
this is another example of the Netflix effect. So we have the role-playing action video game, Cyberpunk 2077, and they're experiencing what is like a surge or a third wave of popularity in their game. So the game is about a dystopian future which is famous for having Keanu Reeves as one of the characters in the game.
Do you get to play Keanu Reeves?
No, he's one of the other characters.
Oh, okay. All right.
But he's in there, right? And everyone got really excited about it. The game obviously had a lot of issues, technical issues and glitches and stuff. But in the last month or so, the number of players that have increased by 300% roughly. From about 13,000 players to about 36,000 players. And why, you may ask? This has to do with the new anime series on Netflix. It's called Cyberpunk Edge Runners. So very popular.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yep. But apparently it's people are saying it's a really great show, but it has on the website Rotten Tomatoes, which does TV and movie ratings, has about 100% approval from critics, 97% from...
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to put that on my to-watch list.
Yes.
And this is nothing new, actually. So I was doing some research when Nelson suggested this story, and Project Red, who makes the game, this is their first foray into this sort of co-branding type of cross-media expansion.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time that we've seen something like this. So The Witcher, for example, is the video game, though the TV show on Netflix, the series, is based off the books, but they took also some inspirations from the game. So I can imagine that, and Project Red makes both of those games. So I can imagine that they saw what happened with The Witcher and thought, okay, this is something that we need to get into. When you're trying to move into a new space, they're moving from video games into a partnership involving television. What sort of accounting issues come into play?
Well, it's a question of cost-benefit analysis, right? Because moving into a new area requires a whole new investment in different technologies. Obviously, producing a game, although similar, is still very different to producing an anime. And so you need to figure out whether or not, is it going to pay off and cover its costs. And there are some certain things that are really hard to evaluate, like, how's that going to affect sales of the game? Because if it's a very popular TV series, which it is,
or if it was terrible,
like,
I guess there wouldn't be any
like
less
most of the
people
Resident
playing
Evil,
it.
or like the Resident Evil TV series and all that kind of things, right? So those are the kind of the considerations. But this isn't the first time that this sort of Netflix effect has paid off, right?
Well, the other one was Drive to Survive, the F1 show. So that got a lot more people interested in Formula One.
Yep, got me interested.
And I haven't seen the Drive to... My kids are keen to watch it. I'm like, I think it's...
really good.
Oh, okay.
It's
kid-friendly?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Maybe there's a bit of swearing.
If there's a bit of swearing, we can probably manage a bit of swearing.
Yeah.
But, it's certainly much cheaper to make an anime than to make a live-action series. So, Lauren Hissrich-Smith, who's the showrunner for The Witcher, really decided to lean into real live action. That takes time, that's a lot more money. You have to pay Henry Cavill $800,000 US an episode. But when you do anime, you can go with lesser known voice actors. And the animation side of it can be much easier to reshoot, to make adjustments. Now, in terms of, I had to bring this up because I was looking at something related the other day on Twitch. The highest grossing stars on Twitch are a team called Critical Role. And it's basically Dungeons and Dragons played on Twitch and YouTube. And they have, so they made, I think, 13 million or something last quarter. But
13 million.
they have, and it's, I think, a group of 8 people plus the dungeon master who writes the scripts. But that now has its own anime on Amazon.
Really?
That is based off the campaigns and the stories that they have.
And
so if you've seen Vox Machina on Amazon, go check out Critical Role as well.
Well, that's really interesting because there's also a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming out with Chris Pine. So I wonder how that's going to impact.
Well, it's cool to be a nerd now.
It is great,
I don't play D&D. My husband was really into D&D. But we play dungeon crawling types of games. So I think, game playing in more general is now a cooler thing to do. And it's a bit more complicated than your Monopoly. But if anyone out there has played Talisman, my son got that game for Christmas. It kills me because it's like a 6-hour board game. And it's really complicated. I think it's really complicated. Now, on the driving theme, I'm going to continue.
Yes.
These are headlines from 2010.
Yes.
We will never build a 4-door car. And then from the same company in 2017, we will never build an SUV. And Ferrari has now done both of those things.
Yes.
They said they will never do, which is build a 4-door SUV. And what is it called?
It's called the Sangue. I had to YouTube the pronunciation.
The pure sangue.
Sangue, which means
pure blood.
Pure blood in Italian. Yeah.
So they're moving into, because last week we mentioned Ferrari is the red car. It's famous as the red horse.
The red horse.
And so they're moving into these SUVs.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this?
Well, the thing is, it's not for lack of money. So in the last financial year, they made operating profit or EBITDA of about 466 million euros. And despite the downturn, things aren't doing too well in the economy.
The rich are not really feeling the pinch, I don't think.
No, they shipped out about 3,500 cars, which is a 30% jump on the previous year. So they're not struggling. So, Amanda, what do you think it is?
Well, this is, again, cost accounting. They're pivoting to a new type of manufacturing, but they're seeing that Porsche and all of the other big supercar manufacturers, luxury vehicle manufacturers, the people that bought a Ferrari in their 20s, if they could afford to buy a Ferrari in their 20s, settle down, they have kids, you need to take kids to soccer games and school drop-offs and swimming carnivals. And so, you don't want to be in any regular run-of-the-mill Audi Q7 or Mercedes SUV.
Well,
you want to be...
Or a Ferrari, or a traditional supercar Ferrari.
So, as their market evolves, they realized, even though they said we're never going to get into it, it's an untapped part of the market. And it makes sense for them because they're selling high margin, relatively low volume, and they have all this expertise anyway.
Yeah, so
it's really just a new model.
Yeah, moving into a new market provides more opportunities. I guess, as you say, those that don't really want a supercar because they're going to take the kids to school, well, the SUV is for them. And from a production perspective...
The kids have like 4-point harness in the back.
I'd be surprised, yeah. But the thing is, moving in from like a sports car to an SUV, presumably there are a lot of similarities in the production. So to that extent, you can save a lot. So
save
if you
all the same
think
suppliers.
about like activity-based costing, right? You could probably figure out that
the rates for the activities are going to be the same, just the volume you're going to use.
Exactly.
The amount of leather in the
car. Which makes your fixed costs a little cheaper, so it makes it a little more worthwhile. Yeah. And it's not like they're cutting the cost of this. I mean, how much does it cost?
They're not making a budget price Ferrari.
Yeah.
They're still going to make a very expensive car. I don't have the price. 400,000.
400,000. Yeah.
American dollars, I would presume that is.
Yes.
I think. I don't think.
Which is the same as euro these days.
Okay. All right. But it's not going to be a cheap car. No. There's already a strong customer base.
Absolutely.
So this is a logical extension, and I'm sure they've seen how well Porsche has done.
Yep. Mercedes.
And big shout out to my friend Olam, who's spending his birthday in Paris this week. And he drove the Porsche four-wheel drive thing. And it's not just for families. He's part of a couple that don't have any kids.
Yeah.
I think they have a dog. So, they still want to be able to get around. As you get older, it's also hard to get into a really low car. So that's one other thing to think about.
And you just want the options. You just want more options.
To
have a second set of seats in the back.
Go to a garden centre. Or, I'm not sure that Ferrari drivers are going to shop at IKEA.
No.
But even they might
some flat pack furniture in the back.
Yeah. I'm sure that we're not going to see a Ferrari four-wheel drive club starting up and, you know, doing four-wheel drive tracks anytime soon.
No.
But, you know, I'd be really impressed if there was a Ferrari four-wheel drive club, or if anybody took these luxury SUVs offline. Off-road.
So you've got a game.
I have a game, so I'm springing this on Nelson.
Okay.
Two truths and a lie. So I have 3 headlines here.
Okay.
I'm going to read them to you, and you have to tell me which 2 are true and which one is the lie.
Okay.
So, first one, auditors told to stop staff cheating in their exams. Second one, new skilled occupation migration list makes it even harder for international students studying accounting. And number 3, how Canva plans to take on Microsoft and Google. Which 2 are true and which one is the lie?
I'm going to say... I'm pretty sure 3 is the 3 is true.
The Canva one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then that leaves either 1 and 2 to be
So
false.
1 was auditors told to stop staff cheating on their exams. And the second one was about the skilled occupation migration list, which is a list for those of you who don't know, if you're looking to come to Australia, study in Australia, these are the skills that we prioritise for permanent residency and pathway to permanent residency.
Okay, I'm going to say 1 is false.
All right, so that's true.
Oh,
so the Financial Reporting Council in the UK has issued an edict. They've asked audit firms to stop staff cheating in their exams.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Even though the skilled occupation migration list, it has made it difficult for international students studying accounting, nobody is writing about that in the press.
Oh, okay.
So I made that one up.
Okay, but it is happening.
It is happening.
Okay,
It's become even more difficult for accounting students, international accounting students to gain residency pathway. You now get more time on your post-study work rights visa, but the requirements to be able to get up into the number of points that you need to be able to be eligible for residency is really, really tough.
It's a really difficult system.
You know, if you're one of these students in this area, check out, talk to your migration lawyer. They'll be able to provide you with some advice. We're obviously not experts here.
No.
But yes, auditors have been told to stop cheating on staff exams. We know that EY have had a problem.
I feel like it goes without saying.
KPMG had a problem. It sort of goes without saying in this ethical environment that we're supposed to be in as auditors and as accountants.
We're all meant to be a bit more woke.
But Canva last month took a massive hit to their share price or to their valuation, according to a lot of investment analysts. But they now have plans to take on Microsoft and Google with their own document sharing platform inside Canva, similar to Word. And similar to PowerPoint. I don't think they're moving into the Excel, Google Sheets type of area. I don't think my spreadsheets need to look pretty, but if they looked nice, that would be great.
Yeah, just a bonus.
But it's really interesting that they've got these plans to really expand, because it's such a fantastic tool. I don't know if anybody else uses it. I bought myself a pro account because it is so much easier to use than Photoshop. I sort of know how to use Photoshop, but there's too many buttons to click.
Yeah.
But I could
more accessible.
Actually, I could really see if the Canva people are listening. How about make Canva for video?
Oh yeah.
Amazing video editing within Canva. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Now, it is a public holiday on Thursday. A national day of mourning for the Queen. I believe the AFL Grand Final is on this weekend. I think Sydney is into the finals. I'm not really up.
Swans?
The Swans.
I think the Swans.
Yeah, not the Swans. I don't think the Giants.
No.
We have 2 teams. You can tell we're really sporty,
we're
related people. So good luck to all those people whose teams are playing this weekend.
Yes.
I'm not sure what we're supposed to be doing on a day of mourning.
Too sure. Yeah.
Is that eat marmalade sandwiches?
Drink
scones,
some tea.
Have some scones.
Yep.
I'll have a great scone recipe. Check out Recipe Tin Eats for a scone recipe.
Great.
She's also a former chartered accountant and former auditor.
The Queen.
No, not the Queen. Nagi, who runs Recipe Tin Eats. No, not the Queen. I tell you what, though, she's got a pretty big portfolio to manage. So next week we're on a break, but you're heading away.
Yes, midweek.
Okay, so we might do a Zoom show next week because I have the kids home on school holidays next
okay.
week, so
Oh,
I'm sure they'll
yes.
crash a show. But otherwise,
Yes.
if you have any questions, would you buy the Ferrari SUV? And if you've played the Cyberpunk game, you've seen the show, let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next week.